Everyone wonders what sort of history their home is hiding. After all, some people have found amazing artifacts and treasures in their basements and attics. So why would your house be any different? In reality, most of us live in ordinary homes with nothing of note to find. Of course, they might feature secret hiding places and precious memories collected over time, but when it comes to real treasure, well, not so much. Alexandra Poulos' home was an exception. What she found hiding in her attic was much more surprising than any family artifact or obscure book. In fact, growing up in Lansdowne, Pennsylvania, Alexandra Poulos assumed that her childhood home was perfectly normal. Still, well, now 43 and married, she's recently learned that might not be the case. When she was a little girl, she often dreamed about rooms in the house that weren't actually there. She's always felt the house was unique and different, and when her mother passed away, Alexandra was drawn back to her family home. Although she loved the home, she couldn't bring herself to stay there now that her parents were gone. But she wasn't ready to sell it either. Instead, she rented out the house to a new family and only visited to make repairs. It was during one of these visits that she discovered something amazing. Many repairs were required in the basement, and while workers spent their days trying to restore things, Alexandra couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on top of a mystery. Curious, she beseeched them to dig just a little bit deeper. The workers followed her instructions and kept digging, and thank goodness that they did. After a few days of work, they discovered a room and a secret tunnel beneath the basement floor. It turned out that Alexandra's home had been part of the Underground Railroad. For years, Alexandra's family had heard rumors that their home had been a stop on the Underground Railroad, which led slaves to freedom. Unfortunately, they never found any proof until that moment. Alexandra couldn't believe that her home was living history. When workers first opened the hole that led to the secret passage, they didn't realize how deep it was. It was so deep, in fact, that Alexandra's tenants lowered a fishing pole into it and it still didn't hit the wall. Her tenants weren't surprised by the home's history, claiming that they had had a spiritual presence when they moved in. When asked by reporters who'd heard of her story if Alexandra had any plans to cover up the hole leading into the secret passage, she was adamant, no way. Instead of permanently covering up that piece of history, she instead planned to install a door for safety purposes. Alexandra also explained that it was no coincidence that her house was located on Garrett Road. The road was named after Thomas Garrett, who helped Harriet Tubman to free 2,700 slaves in the area. "It's 2 minutes away from the house," added Alexandra. "I hope to one day give tours of the site in honor of all they accomplished." Isn't it incredible that Alexandra had such a critical piece of American history right underneath her own 2 feet? It's unbelievable that Alexandra managed to find this in her own home, especially since she dreamed of things like this as a kid. Without people